to put some numbers to the brand, we have these breakouts thanks to their filing with the SEC. Revenue for Madewell was just over $600 million for their most recently completed fiscal year, which is up 32% year over year. And the prior year, they'd grown revenue at 27% year over year. So there's some accelerating growth there. I think some of that is the fact that, yes, I mean, the clothing looks good. As a brand goes, they're an inclusive brand. You see diverse models. You see them accommodating people of all different shapes, which is awesome. And they're very focused on sustainable fashion, which I think has become very in vogue in response to so much of the fast fashion that we've seen over the last decade or so.
They're also focused on sustaining their user base, and I think this is a sort of digital lesson to be learned. 60% of their customers are in a loyalty program. That's really important for driving repeat sales because, so let's say you put a model out at $150, maybe it doesn't sell as well as you would have hoped. Well, you have 60% of your customer base that you can sort of go to them and say, oh my God, these new $150 jeans, we'll give them to you for $99. And that's a way to sort of prevent failure, move inventory, stay relevant, stay in touch, make people feel a little bit special by offering them some deals or maybe some product early, and being connected to your user base in a way that's much better than hoping they walk by you in the mall and remember, especially for a brand that only has 130 or so stores.
Yeah, I've been really impressed with how e-commerce oriented this business is. I think it's really an indication of where the industry is going and some of the best practices that a lot of other retailers should be adopting. You know, you mentioned, just over a third of their sales coming via e-commerce. And I'm actually seeing a lot of articles about their organic search strategy, their ability to bring customers to their website for e-commerce transactions on things that are not branded terms. So a branded term in SEO parlance would be someone being like, I'm searching specifically for Madewell jeans. What we are noticing with them, people that are mining the data here, is that people just searching for jeans or just searching for a type of skirt are coming to their site, which shows not only are they winning when it comes to getting mindshare, but they're winning in terms of their e-commerce strategy as well.
Yeah, and there's also, think about terms like jeans that fit. So when you're making a jeans company that's very focused on being inclusive and body positive, that makes it a lot easier for someone to come in. I know my wife, who's skinny, struggles with finding jeans. It's just the way sizes work. It's not an easy thing. So if you had a company that's sort of embracing that, which Madewell is, it makes it easier for you to be willing to go there. If it's a digital sale and they've got all the returns set up really well, that's also something that's very important because a lot of the traditional retailers, if you order pants online, and I'm kind of wary about doing that, but if you do and they show up and they don't fit, it's a hassle to return. Companies that are digital native like Madewell, that's kind of baked into the process. So it's very, very simple to sort of try clothes on and find the right fit and figure out exactly what you want and then to reorder. So you might go to a store once and then have a digital relationship going forward. And that's something the company has embraced along with this sort of, hey, we're going to figure out how to find pants that fit you.
Dan, you mentioned the retail footprint. I think just over 130 Madewell stores right now. And one of the growth levers for this business is going to be them continuing to open stores. We've seen pretty good numbers when it comes to comps for them. I think around 10% for some of the recent quarters. But they've laid out that they want to open 10 to 15 fairly large stores, mostly in some pretty prime areas over the next couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, they're 3,000 square foot stores, so it's a pretty typical mall clothing store. But they're looking at what's happening, and I think it's fair to say that with malls, there are going to be winners and losers. The top tier malls that are sort of attracting all these digital native brands that still have anchor stores that are doing well, that are replacing failed stores with gyms or hotels, those are going to be the malls you want to go in, the ones where sort of the customer with more money to spend is going to come to. And Madewell's in a really good position that even successful malls are having trouble. Chains like Forever 21 going bankrupt are creating huge holes in malls, and it gives a company that could pick and they could say, look, we're going to come to somewhere in South Florida. That could be West Palm Beach, it could be Palm Beach Gardens, it could be Miami, it could be Boca, and play the 5 or 6 malls in those regions against each other to get either better terms or shorter term deals. Wow, that is hard to say. So this gives them a lot of leeway to sort of, they don't have to be in every mall. They can do sort of what Peloton is doing and just sort of pick the right place to be where their customers are, where it's a little bit of like, oh, wow, like that's the mall that has a Madewell. And I think that's a very strong sort of brand positioning piece, which, you want to feel special. You want to feel exclusive. You don't want this to be an everywhere brand.
Yeah, and for people that have not seen their retail footprint and haven't come across one of their stores yet, you can think about their store placement very similarly to how Warby Parker chooses their locations. If you look over in Washington, D.C., I pass the Madewell on 14th Street in Northwest D.C. all the time. That is only a couple blocks from the Warby Parker that's over in Shaw. And, both of these are kind of scene type places. There are a lot of bars. There are a lot of places where people go get cocktails, nice coffees. There's a lot of those boutique style gyms. So they are putting themselves in pretty prime real estate with most of the locations they're in.
Prime locations and places where it's an event, it's something to do. But again, they don't need. Warby Parker has the problem of it's a little bit awkward to get 5 pairs of glasses in the mail and then try to figure out which ones work. It's really something that having a retail footprint helps. I know I tried with 15 different pairs before going to LensCrafters and buying glasses. In this case, with people being more and more comfortable buying clothes online, and in general, you're probably not changing sizes all that often. Let's hope not. That a very select footprint is going to lead to sort of creating that relationship and then the ability to maybe check in once a year. I know that if I needed jeans, and perhaps I should buy some new jeans, I would think about going out of my way to find a Madewell, get my sizing down, work with someone, figure out what I need, and then as time goes on, if I want to order more or there's a style I like or something, perhaps I would then do a digital sale.